Yokai, a broad Japanese term for supernatural creatures, strange phenomena, and urban legends. Honestly, I'm not sure how I fell down the yokai rabbit hole, but I did. So today I'm going to share some of my favorite ones. First one up are tanuki. They're a mischievous, shape-shifting raccoon dog. At first you might think, oh cute, look at the size of their tail. They must be one of those animals who invested heavily in the functionality of their tail, like beavers, snakes, and octopus. But those aren't tails, they're actually ball sacks. Moving on just a little bit, for tanuki to shapeshift, it's said they have to balance a leaf on top of their head. They can also cast illusions, turning leaves into money and poop into food. Of course, it's after they use the money to purchase something, or after somebody is in the middle of eating the food, do the items turn back into what they were originally. Now, let me set a few things straight. Tanuki are a real animal originally native to East Asia, before Russians introduced them into new places around the 1930s so they can hunt them for fur. And now they've spread around so much that they've been sighted in several places in Europe. So it's not like they aren't real. And you know what else isn't not real? This segue to our sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually their scrotum. This goes back to metal workers in Kanizawa. They would wrap gold in tanuki scrotum to hammer out thin gold leaves. When doing this, you want to hammer the gold as thin as possible, so you need a material that can stretch a lot without breaking. Tanuki scrotum fit the proverbial lump of gold quite well. It was said a tanuki scrotum could reach the size of 8 tatami. For reference, this is 1 tatami mat. Hello everybody, how are you doing tonight? Good. So, tanuki scrotum, am I right? No, why the heck aren't we using their scrotum for more stuff? Am I the only one that thinks it would be useful to have a water bottle made from a material that could stretch the volume of an entire camel? Or picture this, you have a medium-sized room you want wallpapered. With 1 tanuki scrotum, you could wallpaper a significant portion of it. Looking at the images, it makes a man wonder about pain. It brings me to the conclusion that all the images of tanuki must be the outcasts of the group that enjoy cock and ball torture. It brings up the question though, it's the ball that feels pain, not the scrotum. So do the size of the testicles reflect the size of the scrotum? Or do they have tiny little normal-sized balls just kind of floating around in there? Wouldn't that be extremely impractical when getting checked for testicular cancer? It would be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but instead they're testicles in a ball sack. It's now time for Fun Facts with ASCII. Did you know, in ancient Japan, people used to believe that sealing a human corpse in the construction of a building would make it stronger and more stable by warding off evil spirits? To be clear, they didn't just use corpses from the local graveyard. They sacrificed living people for this. As you might know, the Japanese like to use wood and paper for their buildings. So because of the materials they used for construction, it was common that Japanese buildings would burn down. As a result of the uncontrolled flames, this meant the meat was always overcooked. The Japanese also practiced mabiki, which is killing babies. Shortly after birth, before the baby gained enough experience in life to be called alive, the parents would make the decision on whether they wanted to keep the baby or not. Okay, babe, you just labored in childbirth for the past 8 hours. It's time to make the decision. We could keep the baby, or we could put wet paper over it and go shopping. Let's go, we're out of rice. Once they have a dead baby, either from leaving it unattended for a day or two, smothering it, or using wet paper, or by using it as an infantile projectile. To dispose of the body, they would sometimes put it in the river, since they thought rivers carried the souls of the dead to the spirit world. Sometimes they would just put it under their floorboards though. So it ain't just adult meat being burned. And now back to our usual programming. You know how we talked about raccoon dogs a bit ago? Well, following the same canine theme, a Jinmenken is a dog with the face of a human. What I find interesting is in the opposite part of the world, Christianity has literally the opposite thing going on. Saint Christopher is often depicted as having a dog head, and it isn't just Saint Christopher. Dog-headed people make an appearance in several different places, one of which are a depiction of dog-headed warriors with Jesus. It's interesting to see the connection between the Western depictions of canine humans and Japan's version of it. A dog with the face of a mildly depressed middle-aged man that just wants to be left alone, which is mildly depressing to think about. But I'd like to think the opposite of the dog-headed people. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a human friend that has the personality of your dog? Dogs will do anything for you. Now, hear me out. If the dog people weren't exclusively male, whatever the heck those things are, I think they would finally ascend from being man's best friend to being man's best friend with benefits. Now, sadly, guys, that's it for this video. But remember, if you see a house fire in Japan, check under the floorboards. You don't want to waste good meat. Bye-bye.